Hey guys, Dr. here. Today I'm going to talk to you about how I sell a deck and who do I focus on to sell that deck to. So if you like this video, please don't forget to click that subscribe button. A quick footnote here. Now, this is over the last 35 years of my career. So I've learned a few things about sales techniques in my region of where I sell in the Pacific Northwest, primarily the Puget Sound, focusing on a 1 hour to an hour and a half circumference from the Tacoma, Washington region. So first of all, my client is usually a 35 to 65-year-old female, married, that may have a couple kids and a couple cars, whatever, in the driveway. That's like 80% of who I sell to. There's always, contrary to that, sometimes I'm dealing with the husband, sometimes he's alone. A lot of times when I find a client and I only have one of the couple there, it becomes a little harder to sell unless they're hyper-focused on what they're doing. So just something to think about. This is a female-driven category, and you might want to consider that when you start working on your sales techniques to your clients. First thing is, don't ever judge a book by its cover. You may go into a house that has dilapidated cars, they invite you in the home, you're walking through, there's stuff stacked everywhere, the carpets need to be replaced, but they're focused on the backyard. They want a new deck. They don't want a new car, they don't want carpet. It's not up to you to tell them what they do or don't need. You're there for a particular reason, and that's to sell a deck. You're not there to think about anything else, or the way the person looks, or how they smell, or how they talk, or if they're smoking like a chain smoker, does not matter. You're there primarily as a salesman, you want to sell a deck. So don't judge those people. You'd be surprised at how many times I've sold a deck where I've walked out of a house and said, I'm never getting this one. I'm never gonna sell this. And I put it together anyways, and I send it to them, and they're like, when can you start? We like you the best, when can you start? So never judge a book by its cover. That's one of the greatest pieces of advice that I can give you. Another thing I would suggest is don't discriminate when you're on that estimate. Keep an open mind. Listen to your clients, listen to their needs and their wants. Don't make it personal about what you think you would like to see in their project. Listen to what they have to say and then try to implement some of those ideas into what you're going to build for them. So when I usually show up on a project, on a potential bid or potential project that I'm going to sell, I like to listen to what the client has to say first, and then I put my spin on that. So they might say, yeah, we want a 40-foot by 80-foot deck. We want 22 barbecues over here and 36 covers, and I want it this big and all that. Okay, all right, cool. That sounds great. Do you realize that you're at $250,000 with all these requests? And usually that kind of like stops the motion. And then you can reel them back in and say, okay, so let's map out how big you think you want this deck. And usually once they see it on a footprint, then you can go back to them and say, okay, this is a more traditional size that we sell. Maybe a 16 by 20 or a 20 by 20 or a 20 by 30. If you start getting over 600, 700, 800 square feet, unless they have the budget and the landscape for that, wonderful, let's sell them what we can. But usually you're reining things in a little bit to make sure that that budget stays intact, because they're gonna creep well over $100,000 if they start making it that big, because you have all the railing costs, fascia, all the other extras, benches and stairs and all that other thing. All that stuff adds up in the end, so that if they go with this really large footprint, it could become cost prohibitive. Like I said before, it's usually better if both parties are present at this meeting. I can't tell you how many times I've gone on a bid with only one party present, and then after the couple comes together and they talk about my presentation, usually somebody that wasn't there isn't quite clued in as well as the other. So then I have to go back and represent with both of them present, and that's usually a more effective way. So whenever possible, I try to make sure that everybody that's living there, or at least the breadwinner or whoever is paying for it and whoever is the main deciding factor in the home, that they're both present, so that we can make an educated decision together, and I can get all the information, because usually if only one party's there, then somebody didn't get, oh, but you forgot to ask about the privacy screens. Oh, you forgot to ask about the built-in planters that I wanted over here for our herb garden. And then you're just reconfiguring the estimate, you're spending more time. So if you get everybody there, or at least have a list of things, then that makes it a little more conducive to creating an accurate and one time instead of multiple times for the estimate. And probably here's the best piece of advice I can give you: paint an animated picture. Be up, have high energy when you get to that project or you get to that bid, and say, oh, well, hey, look, what if we put the barbecue over here, and then the railing's gonna go over here, you're gonna have this little bump out right here, and this is gonna be great for your outdoor living area, for your table and your chairs. If we don't have this much space, I don't recommend that. And just really try to visually show them what they can do with your hands and your voice. And you'd be surprised at how well that works with people. When you shake their hand and have a great night, okay, I'll be in touch, I'm gonna send you an estimate, they are looking forward to receiving that estimate from you. So usually, a lot of times, we either get a thank you email or a phone call saying, hey, when am I gonna get my bid? We were really excited to have Jason over to see this, and when can we get that price? So we do our best to get them out in a certain amount of time, but to have that kind of reciprocation is awesome. So always be animated. Don't go in on if you gotta chug a Red Bull or whatever you gotta do, have a coffee before you go on that bid. Just don't be like lackluster and walk in and go, yeah, I can build your square. Yeah, it'll have stairs, and you might have some railing, and here's your price. People, in my opinion, they want somebody that's excited to build their deck as excited as they are to have it built. So you're being interviewed, so don't forget that fact. You're not only giving a price, but they're interviewing you to see if you're gonna be a fit to their construction build. So, all right guys, well, that's 5 good ways to learn how to sell a deck and who you're selling it to. If you like this video, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when we're putting out new content. Don't forget to leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think of this video, and don't forget to share it around. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day.